Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook, joined by Justin Wells. Justin, more breaking news. Seems like every time I talk to you, it's about recruiting or breaking news. A little bit of both here. Texas has added Tiaoalii Savea. I'm not going to make an attempt on the name. I saw that the Arizona depth chart had him at 6'4", 305, listed him as Tiaoalii Savea. There wasn't another one on the roster. And he has decided, after taking an official visit to Texas on the weekend of January 20th and 21st, specifically the 21st, that Texas is where he wants to spend his final year of eligibility. What does this mean for the Longhorns picking up a defensive tackle, especially after T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy have moved on?
Yeah, this is big because I think we've documented enough to let people know and understand if there's a pretty good defensive lineman in the portal, Steve Sarkisian's going to go after him. Like it doesn't matter, because he understands the importance of stacking bodies at that position. I mean, you're talking about a guy with 22 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks last season in Arizona. He transferred from UCLA, where linebacker coach Johnny Nansen was before, and so I think they had a really good connection, and it really fits. It feels a need, Joe. Like DeAndre Robinson flipping to Florida and Trill Carter moving on to greener pastures. You're going into the SEC, and you have to stack that D-line room. That's imperative. You will get bullied if you don't. And this is a guy who's the anti-bully. This is a guy that can play some 3-tech. He's versatile along that line. He's active. He's disruptive. He's got a strong motor. And I think right now, Sark knows they've got to get another defensive tackle. I don't think this is going to be the only one. I could see them grabbing another one after spring ball when the window opens back up. But obviously, with Arizona losing their coach, Jed Fish, they had that window for where they can leave, and Texas pounced early and often and quick, and they didn't take very long. They needed D linemen, like you said, losing those two big hog mollies in Sweat and Murphy, and I think Savea is a guy that's going to fill in and play really well.
Yeah, I think with you losing Dontre Robinson and you losing Trill Carter, you needed to get numbers, and yes. If you needed to get, of course, if you're Steve Sarkisian, you want to get a quality player when you're getting those numbers. And Savea, I think he's a pretty close replacement for Trill Carter. Right at that, Arizona listed him at 6'4", 305. And if he's not there right now, well, I think they can bulk him up in due time. 22 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. Means he got his work into the backfield on some run plays decently often, playing for that Wildcat defense. That was part of a really good year for Arizona and Jed Fish, why he parlayed that into the Washington job, and also had a good game against Oklahoma. Had a good little barb sent towards the Sooners on social media that he was able to, take part in. And I think one thing that really sticks out, you're getting the right numbers. You're getting, guys to help maintain that rotation. We've seen so much that the ability to rotate defensive tackles and not have too big of a drop-off has been huge for Texas, whether it was last year, like 2022, when it was Sweat, Murphy, Coburn, and Ojimo, or if it was 2023 where it was Sweat, Murphy, Collins, and Broughton. That's huge. It allows you to have quality play in the middle, helps keep the run defense up to snuff, and it's part of what Pete Kwiatkowski expects from his defensive tackles. Another thing is, you brought up the Johnny Nansen factor, and Savea and Nansen have been with each other every step of the way. Nansen was a defensive line coach for Chip Kelly in 2021. It was there for a few years, but that was a year of overlap after Savea came out of the Las Vegas area, went to UCLA. Nansen goes to Arizona. Is Jed Fish's defensive coordinator. Savea follows him there, and he's there for 2 years. And now Nansen comes to Texas with Steve Sarkisian, co-defensive coordinator, linebackers coach. He knows what it's going to take to compete in the SEC, and he found a familiar friend to help the Longhorns in that area. And so that kind of says a lot to me that Johnny Nansen, who's seen a lot of football, was part of some quality coaching staffs, decided that, you know what, this guy who just entered the portal, he's good enough to help the defense I'm going to help coach this year.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, this was the Tom Herman alignment. This made sense. Texas had a need spot. The getting Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton back is huge, but you want to keep those guys fresh, like you talked about. We do a PFF grades thing every Sunday after a game, and we looked at it, and it was basically T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy rarely went over 30 snaps a game. That's how you keep guys healthy. That's how you keep them fresh, and you keep guys happy because there's a constant rotation there, and you're getting your bench is a little bit deeper. And so for a kid like Savea, I think this is tremendous. One, it made so much sense because it's at a need position. Two, Johnny Nansen and that connection makes so much sense. And then three, heading into the SEC, I said it again, I'll say it one more time. Texas needs to stock up on defensive linemen. I don't think that if there's one position in the program you can't have too many dudes, it's the defensive line. That's where the game starts and stops, especially in the Southeastern Conference. And so, again, this just made a lot of sense, Joe. Savea is an active guy. If you go watch his tape, he is disruptive. I don't know if he's going to be able to get the interior pressure that Sweat and Murphy delivered. But then again, we weren't absolutely sure Sweat and Murphy were going to deliver the pressure that Coburn and Ojmo had. And so it's one of those things where get in the room, learn the system. You got familiarity in that voice and Johnny Nansen. And at the end of the day, I still don't think they're done. I think they could find another defensive lineman in the portal post-spring.
Yeah, and one more thing before I have to get in a word from Andre the lawyer. He has I think a 68.5 Pro Football Focus grade. And that's, amalgamating his run defense, pass defense, and tackling. So, and that's good. I mean, it's not Byron Murphy and T'Vondre Sweat above, 90, but it's still a good player. And it's also not going to affect recruiting in the 2025 class all too much. This guy has 2 years to play one season unless something else happens and everything gets blown up. He's only here for one more year. This isn't going to affect how Texas tries to go and get anybody from, say Lufkin or Mansfield Timberview if you're following 2025 defensive tackle recruiting. And it surely is not something that I think would threaten anybody on the roster, considering they've looked in their room. And although they're the biggest humans, it's certainly not it's certainly thin in that room right now. Before we keep going, we got to get a quick word in from Andre the lawyer. Andre the lawyer never takes more than our clients. No win, no pay, and no upfront cost. He's an inside Texas user with a principal office in Dallas, Texas. He's been representing injured Longhorns throughout the state of Texas. Every client gets a personalized text message number so they can contact the team and get direct access to their lawyer all day and all night. Call Andre the lawyer at 214-444-8808. Whether you're in a car wreck, an 18-wheeler accident, slip and fall, or an on-the-job injury, even wrongful death, call 214-444-8808, 214-444-8808. Justin, just trying to think of any other things on this. 22 tackles, 6 for loss, 1.5 sacks from Savea in 2023. I think also, it speaks a little bit to a budding Polynesian player pipeline that Texas has not really had the type of coach who can go out and see players and go to communities and, whether it be Texas, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, even to Hawaii itself. Yeah. They've had plenty of different guys who have been Polynesian, but that is a community we talk about a lot where Johnny Nansen was born in Samoa and he lived in Samoa. And so if there's somebody who gets it, it's him. And I think that for as well respected as Pete Kwiatkowski is for his long time recruiting on the West Coast and, recruiting at Boise, at Washington, putting a lot of Polynesian players into the NFL, it does help just to have someone from that community who may, I don't know for sure, may literally speak the language to know that, hey, if you're going there, you're going to have something that helps remind you of home. And helps you, become a man in a way that your community and culture values most.
Yeah, it's funny because the more we learn about these guys, the more we learn that, I mean, you talk about a family-oriented bunch. You talk about how the dad, the grandfather, they run the show. And it's if Nansen can go in there and be at least an equal, I think that gives Texas an advantage before he leaves. I think that puts Texas in a prime pouncing position. And you want that because those are some of the best young prospects coming up on the West Coast. Big, strong, mean, just old man strength type guys. And with Nansen's ability, you know, we saw it after he was hired. Twitter went pretty quick with well, now you got a Poly pipeline. Now you're going to see more Poly kids headed to Texas, and those families are tremendous. I mean, there is some real rich history and tradition when it comes to those guys. And Nansen's, you know, it's different from a regular person walking into that living room and trying to sell the parents and sell the kid on a program. When Nansen can go in there, it's like you said, speak the language and the understanding and just the full value of what that means to that family. I think that gives Texas an advantage over most programs with those type of kids. And this is another one. Look, we've said it a lot. We'll say it one more time. Defensive line needed some bodies. You lost DeAndre Robinson. He flipped right after Bo Davis went to Baton Rouge. You lost Trill Carter. He went on and went down the road. Savea, to me, is a guy that fits in there, and he's ready-made. You don't have to develop him. You don't have to put him in the cooker and wait. He's going to be ready to contribute immediately. And I think there's an urgency with this group for 2024. I think Sark and these guys got a taste of 2023, what it's like to play in the playoff, what it's like to be a top 5 team, finishing number 3 in the country. And they want to maintain that. And the offensive guys, they've done that. They return a lot of guys. And on that defense, they're replacing a lot of guys. Savea, to me, is a guy that was at a must-need position, and they filled it.
I'm with you. I think that says a lot. Once again, big pickup for Texas. Big, you know, size-wise, Tiaoalii Savea, defensive tackle from Arizona, committing to the Longhorns. Justin, thank you so much. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, where we'll have breaking news, analysis, and other regular programs all throughout the course of this big recruiting season. Make sure you head to InsideTexas.com. You can get $1, or you can get a month of premium access for just $1. We always say it. We'll say it again. No better time, especially as the Longhorns are gearing up for a great 2024 campaign. Justin, thank you so much. I'm Joe Cook. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com.